How's it going? I'm Visionary. This is Visionary Decks, and today we're going to be taking a look at day 4 of card reveals from the brand new LOR expansion, Fates Voyage. Starting off with our second new champion, Janna. I'm excited to find out what she does. Let's take a look at the trailer. She does have an interesting new design, dude. It's always cool when LOR like changes the way champions look. This is not at all what she looks like in League. So she is a 4-mana, 2/4 from P&Z. She's so like weird looking for P&Z because she doesn't even look like, she looks like she'd belong in Freljord or Targon. She's a 4-mana, 2/4 from P&Z. Play, updraft 2 to draw 2 at the next round start. That is pretty spicy on its own. That's not even half of her text. Each round, the first 3 times you draw a card, reduce its cost by 1. Oh, this round. Okay. So temporary -1. The first 3 times? Wait, the first 3 times? The first 3 times? She levels up when she's seen you play 6 cost reduced cards. Okay. This is, wait, okay. This is crazy though. Just on level 1, she discounts 2 cards and basically mulligans them for you. You don't get them until the next round start, but that's still like, that's very big. And those cards get their cost reduced because every time you draw 3 cards each round, they get reduced by 1. That's nuts. So I don't know how many updraft cards they're going to release, but if her entire package is like updraft and she reduces cost, basically every card you play, except for like maybe the first few cards you start with in your hand, are going to be -2 cost. That's basically just how Janna works, right? Because updraft reduces cost by 1. And then if you draw it again while she's on board, she's going to reduce it again by 1. And this is only, this is what she does before she levels up. I'm honestly getting like Karma vibes from her. She seems like she could be very, 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 very strong. I don't know. I mean, for a 4-mana card, this is not bad at all. Anyways, let's watch the rest of the trailer. I'm curious to see how she actually works. Oh, wow.
Just looking for a sign.
Okay, we've got like 3 new cards in hand and 2 new cards on board. She's going against Annie. Hog. I saw a new landmark. I'm hyped for whatever that landmark is. I hope it's like ARAM. I hope it's something like ARAM. That's so crazy that she just discounts what you draw. Dude, this is back alley bar all over again. Here, this is back alley bar, but even more, even more degenerate. I can't wait. Okay, so her followers do look like they updraft.
Oh, I love that for you.
Oh, I love that for you. All right, I mean, I would like to see like her level 2 if we're gonna get there in this trailer. I feel like there's a lot of nothing that's happening here. Okay, Sunken Temple, what does that do? I want to know what the Sunken Temple does. Is that a stun? Wait, what is that? Okay, 3 damage. Just like a get excited. Is that her champion spell? I think her champion spell is deal 3 damage. Here's the level up. Wait, what? Okay, this looks like this looks like a skin. This is just her normal level 2. What in the world? It's kind of cool. She just turns into a bird with a candle for a head. Okay, so she oh no. She turns into an elusive, and then she has round start, draw 1. When you draw a card, reduces cost by 1 this round. Okay, I mean, I feel like her level 2 is almost worse than her level 1. She doesn't have the play effect anymore. Maybe there's just enough updraft cards that once you level her up, it doesn't really matter. But I kind of liked her playability. So the fact that she just has no playability and becomes an elusive, is that worth it? I don't know. Like, is that why you want Janna? Do you really want her because she's elusive? This is the most... This might be the most toxic champion in the game, though. It's mana cheating, and it's elusive. And it's free draw. I mean, she does so much. This is crazy. Like, this might be the most different things one champion has done, besides someone like a Felios. This is crazy, man. I would love to know what that landmark does, by the way. There's just a landmark chilling on the board. Also, wait. What is that? What is that 4/4? What in the world is that 4/4? It's got an aura. It does something. What does it do? I need to know what that... Wait, did they get buffed by the landmark? Oh no, that's Neela's boat. Dude, I need to know what the landmark does. End the trailer so I can see the landmark. I need to see the landmark. All right, I mean, she's definitely a card for memers, that's for sure. She's just basically, hey, I heard you want to build a meme deck in P&Z. I got you. It took me a second to realize this, but I think Janna might be the perfect champion for Coin Printer. Again, if you've watched me for the last couple months, you've probably seen me play Coin Printer at least once or twice. The ability to reduce cards cost and draw cards is like the perfect combination for basically any printer deck, but especially Coin Printer. As long as she is in her level 2 form, everything is just -1 cost. Like, how sick is that? Actually, having a champion that just says -1 cost everything is so useful for printer decks. There's so many meme decks that are like just shy of going infinite or just shy of doing like a really cool combo. If they can just make everything everywhere -1 cost. Now, I do feel like I feel like one of the first decks people are going to build with Janna as far as infinite decks go, it's got to be Auction Infinite, right? Playing Auction Infinite with Janna, as long as you just level Janna, probably lets you go infinite like 2 turns earlier. I feel like that's just what Janna is going to be used for. Like, obviously, she's a good value champion for any deck. She seems like a great champion if you're in P&Z and you don't know what your second champion should be. She's just gonna be like the default from now on. It's like, huh, I'm playing a Auction P&Z deck, but there's no second champion that really fits because it's just Auction Infinite. Let me throw Janna in there. And the fact that she just casually turns elusive on level 2 also makes her a great champion to play in decks that are like, I don't know, going for damage. You could play her in a Hallowed deck. You could play her in some sort of Bard deck. Bard Janna has got to be... Wait, Bard Janna? Dude, Bard Janna is crazy. I've already thought P&Z was like a very good region for Bard just because of all the draw it has. Bard Janna actually might be the new thing. I think Bard Janna has got to be like intentional. She's just the new Kale, basically. Step aside, Kale. I've found the new angel for my Bard decks. Honestly, I feel like she's a little bit too powerful, is she not? For 4, I feel like she's got to be 5 mana. For everything she does, like to only spend 4 mana and just get as much mana cheating as she gives you is crazy. I think she's probably going to have to be removed on site. If you're playing against her, like the amount of mana cost that she that she reduces is just ridiculous. On level 1, it's the first 3 cards you draw. It would be understandable if it was like the first 1 card you draw, and then level 2 was the first 3. But first 3 on level 1 is insane. That's crazy to me. You know, to be fair, her cost reduction does only last a single round. So I feel like that is going to make her lean more towards less reactionary decks. Decks that are like playing Ionia with stuns, deny, karma, recalls. Those are all cards you typically want to like save over the course of multiple turns. So I feel like she's not going to be great in those decks. She'll probably still be fine just because she's so good. But obviously, like, I think she's going to be strongest in decks that want to play all their cards as soon as they draw them. And to me, that does seem like a Bard deck. That does seem like a printer deck or an infinite deck, because a lot of times those decks just play all their cards in 1 turn anyways and try to win in that 1 turn they play all their cards. I honestly was expecting her package to be much more based on like stuns or recalls or like something that was supposed to like slow the game. But this is just back alley bar as a champion. I love it. What's not to love, man? I'm gonna have to put her in S tier. She is an S tier card. I already know I'm going to see people complaining about her on Twitter. If it's not now, it's going to be after the expansion releases, because people were very, very salty about Back Alley Bar. I personally enjoyed the Back Alley Bar meta when it was first released. I thought it was fun, but this just seems like an even better Back Alley Bar. All right, moving on to Janna's champion spell, Eye of the Storm, a 4-mana burst speed elemental spell. It says, give an ally +2 this round. Draw 2. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I see no reason not to like this card. Dude, this with Bard is not bad. It's a free +2 on his level up. Draw 2. Why the heck not? As if P&Z didn't have enough draw already. Now we've got this. Bard P&Z is 100% going to be a deck. I'm feeling like an A tier for this card. It's definitely not like quite as good as Janna herself and all these other cards that are on S tier, but it's definitely solid. Like, it's gonna have to compete with all of the draw spells we already have in PNZ. If you don't really want the buff, if you're playing a deck like Heimer Jace, for example, obviously you're still going to run a formula. But to be honest, like, I don't know. I think most decks, even if they're not really aggro decks, even if they're not really like focused on board, still just wouldn't mind having a casual +2. Like, why not just tack on 1 extra mana to your formula to be able to give something +2? That could make a huge difference. That could be the difference between you trading and not trading with an opponent's unit. Like, this probably will just become the next best draw spell. You know what? This is S tier. This is S tier. I was wrong. This is not A tier. This is S tier. Especially now that Janna exists. Like, you can't argue that, oh man, I should be playing a cheaper draw spell. If you have Janna on board, this is 3 mana. This is equal to a formula, and it just does more. This is just the new best draw card. It is the new best draw card in PNZ. All right, Windborn Mariner. We got an eagle guy here. 2 mana, PNZ, 3/1 with quick attack. If you've drawn 3+ cards this round, I cost 1 less. No, 2 less. Okay, so he's 0 mana. He's a 0 mana card. You're going to be able to draw 3+ cards. Like, literally 1 slipstream, and you just drop him for 0 mana. This is going to be toxic. This is actually going to just be an aggro card, isn't it? This is just, you play this with Neela. I guess Neela Janna has got to be a deck. Because Neela gives you all the draw, and then Janna gives you all of the cost reduction. Dude, oh no. I thought Janna was here to help the memers, but she is here to help the aggro decks, isn't she? She's just here to help aggro play their cards even faster. So this guy, if you have 3 of them in your hand, and you play 1 slipstream, just boom, boom, boom. You drop 3 of these guys. And it's not even like, okay, well now you're out of cards. You're not out of cards, because you're playing Neela Janna. He does die to pings, so he is going to die to a Pytos, but remember, we are going back into standard, so it's not like that makes a big deal, because Pytos is really one of the only cards that you're going to have to worry about. I don't know. I mean, he's definitely, I think for a 1 HP unit, he's fairly balanced. If he had any more than 1 HP, this would be kind of crazy to just be able to drop a card for 0 mana. I would say this guy is definitely A tier. He's not my type of card at all, but in an aggro deck, if you're playing a PNZ deck and it happens to be aggro, this guy will be like crazy strong. This guy will absolutely change the way aggro decks work. He's gonna be like the new Legion rearguard. It's kind of scary to know that the opponent could have 3 of these guys, go down to 0, and then just drop 3 units. That's 9 damage. If you're not ready to deal with it, that is 9 damage turn 2. If they want to make it happen. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this card. I'm kind of scared. It's going to be so oppressive, dude. But, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully they printed like at least one good way to board wipe this expansion as well. Maybe we'll get one in PNZ with today's cards. If not, maybe we'll get one in like SI or something. I don't know. But anyways, let's take a look at the next card. Maryam Temple Caretaker, a 2 mana 2/3, also in PNZ. Play updraft 1 to either draw 1 or refill your spell mana. That's really good. I'm gonna be honest. That is not bad. Any card, I mean, we've known this for a long time. Any card that gives you a choice that's just like, do this or do this, is very good, because it essentially means it's like 1 less card you need to put in your deck. It basically opens up a deck slot for you to play an extra card, because otherwise you'd have to play like Zonai Urchin to draw 1 and then Eager Apprentice to refill your spell mana. But now you can just have both of those in 1 card, and it's like, okay, now I get to add an entire extra card to my deck because I combined 2 cards into 1. It seems to me like this whole archetype is basically made like discard. Like, you have to updraft, and that's a bad thing. But as far as I can tell, updraft is just beneficial, is it not? You're just taking a card and reducing its cost, and you'll probably end up drawing it later. If you're playing as much draw as it seems like Janna is bringing to the table in a region that already has draw, updraft is just another benefit. You're reducing the cost of a card to do something, as if reducing the cost of a card is a negative thing in any way. I mean, if you play this to refill spell mana, you're just going like overly positive on mana, are you not? You're spending 2 mana to get 3 mana and reducing the cost of a card in hand. Granted, that card disappears, but again, when you have so much draw, this is just nothing but upsides. I see nothing but upsides here. This is such a good card. This is going to become just like a staple card in every PNZ deck. This should be a 1/3, I think. I think a lot of the cards that are coming out, they're going to have to nerf on stats because their abilities are so strong compared to what we already have in the game, none of our old cards can really compete with it. Like, what 2-drop can compete with this in any region? I mean, this is absolutely an S tier card. There's no question about it. I feel like we're getting a lot of S tiers. Like, there has yet to be a single card that I put in F tier. Both of these have been close. These have both definitely been close, but there's nothing that's just been like absolutely unplayable, which I think is a positive thing. If we go an entire expansion without an F tier card, I think that shows that like Riot is learning more about what types of cards players like to play, and they're just deciding not to print bad cards, which, like, why waste an entire new card on a card that no one is going to play? It makes sense. It's cool to see that things are trending positively towards just cards that are fun, cards that are good. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. But this might be a little too good. All right, finally, we get to find out what the heck this landmark does. 5 mana P&Z landmark, which is weird because it's underwater. I really thought this was going to be a Bilgewater landmark. Sunken Temple. Round end. Updraft your hand. Round start. Draw that many cards. +1. So this is like Monkey Man from Bilgewater that we saw a couple days ago, except just 10 times more powerful. This does it every single round. I mean, okay, on first glance, this card is slightly better than it looks. You have to keep in mind, or maybe slightly worse, depending on how you're looking at it. You have to keep in mind, like, this is basically a Swindler's Den, right? Your cards essentially have fleeting, but then when they discard themselves, instead of disappearing forever, they go back into your deck, and they get -1 cost. So really, this is just, like, probably the most powerful landmark in the game, is it not? Because essentially, from the moment you play this onwards, every single card that you start drawing is going to be -1 cost. Eventually, all your cards are going to be 0 cost. Like, forget Swindler's Den. This might be the new Swindler's Den for Coin Printer. Can we finally play Coin Printer with any region? This might be it. The only problem is this draws stuff like round start, but I think this is good enough that you could just play this and play Coin Printer and, like, be okay with the fact that you're not going to win in 1 turn. The deck might be slightly better if you play it with Swindler's Den, but, like, this is nuts. This entire package is insane. This might be the most powerful champion they've ever added to the game. I'm not even exaggerating. Janna, along with this entire package, is just, like, so generically good. There is no way this is going to be fair. Everybody's going to be playing this card. Every single deck, game 1 of the new expansion, is just going to be everyone's playing P&Z Sunken Temple. This is broken. This is so powerful. Why is this the ability this card has? I mean, it's another S tier, dude. Another slam dunk. Another slam dunk in the S tier. There is no other way to look at it. This deserves... You know what? What the heck? Chime Slime tier. Don't even care. Don't even care, dude. I'm putting Sunken Temple in Chime Slime tier. Chime Slime's probably hanging out in Sunken Temple. I bet you if you zoom in on the microscopic scale, Chime Slime is like a little germ on this statue. He's just like a little algae, just chilling, just hanging out on the sunken statue. Therefore, this deserves to be in Chime Slime tier. I don't know how else to... Because this is better than Janna. This is legitimately better than Janna. It's Chime Slime tier. I'm sorry. It just is. All right, moving on to the next card. A 1 mana slow spell. Summon a Galesong Swallow. Honestly, this looks like an Ionia card. A lot of the new card art for Janna's entire set just has, like, Ionia vibes. Kind of weird to see this type of art in P&Z. This is an elemental spell. It's only 1 mana, so it summons a Galesong Swallow. Let's see what that is. It is a 2/1 bird. The 2/1 bird. Okay. This is good with Nora, I guess. I guess it's good if you want to, like, level Nora quickly. You can just play, instead of playing a normal 1-drop, you're playing a created 1-drop. I don't know. Maybe there's some elemental synergy that this will make sense with. Maybe there is some bird deck that this fits in. I guess if you want to play bird decks, this is pretty useful because it's just, like, a cheap bird. You know what? I'm putting this in F tier. I think we actually have our first F tier card. Unless this, like, makes sense with a new card later. Maybe I'll move it up to D tier if it has, like, some synergy with the new card. But from what I can tell, this is just... There's not any great reason to play this. Even in a bird deck, is this that necessary? There's, like, why not just play Omen Hawk? Omen Hawk is a better 1-drop than this. All right, moving on to... Uh-oh. Galesong Flock. Okay. Well, hold on now. Hold on. 5 mana. This is a different card. Summon a Galesong Swallow and grant it +1/+1 for each other elemental spell and skill you've played this game. Draw 1. If this said, like, grant all Galesong Swallows on board X amount of stats, then that might make the previous card a little bit more playable. It seems like the only reason the previous card exists is just like a cheap way to up the buff that you're getting off this, but this is interesting. Okay, so this is a reason to play elemental stuff over regular stuff. Now we finally have like our first elemental synergy card. It's definitely not the worst. I think there are decks this works in. Again, Bard might not be bad with this, just because it could be like a free Bard level up. I don't know if you want to play a card like this when you already have so much draw in P&Z. You'd probably rather just draw Chimes to level up Bard, but let's just say you've played like 4 elemental spells. Maybe you've played the bird thing twice, and then you've played like 2 other elemental spells. You drop this. That's +4/+4. That's 8 out of 20 on Bard's level up. That's not the worst. This still feels a little slow. I feel like there are better ways to level Bard in P&Z, probably. I don't know. I don't think this makes the previous card make any more sense. I would say this is like a C tier. I would happily put this in C tier. I would say this is a C tier card. I guess this makes the previous card D tier. I'll move it up 1 tier. Moving on to Howling Gale. This is one of the cards that got leaked when they released the whole like elemental spreadsheet, and there were a bunch of like new card names on there that had not been released yet. I was expecting this to be like a 7 mana card. I don't know why. That's just what the card art was given off, but apparently not. 3 mana, slow, deal 2 to a unit, increase my damage by 1 for each other card you've played this round, up to 3 times? So this is basically a 3 mana deal 5. This is 3 mana deal 5. It is not difficult at all in almost any deck to make this a 3 mana deal 5. I mean, this is super flexible. It can just be deal 2 if that's all you need it to be, so you don't have to actually jump through hoops just to play this card. But if you want it to be, it's just like, it's modular. It's so good for being modular. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this existing means you're going to have to build your deck, whatever it is, to not care about this. You need to be able to play some like second region like Targon or Ionia that can buff your stuff. Maybe you play Shurima for Deny. This is going to be just like a meta-defining card. Honestly, I'm tempted to put this in Chime Slime tier as well, dude. This is feeling like a Chime Slime tier. I feel like this goes with the Chime Slime. This is just like his sneeze, you know? This is the sneeze of the Chime Slime. I mean, it's so good. This is on another... I didn't think cards were going to be getting more powerful than everything we have in S tier here. Even this is almost Chime Slime tier, I'm going to be honest. But like the just sheer power level of these cards is off the charts. It's like there's so many cards that are just going to be garbage now compared to Howling Gale. There's so many cards that are just going to be garbage now that this 2-drop is in the game. There's so many cards that are just like not even good enough to play when this new landmark exists. It's crazy. It's really cool to see that the meta is going to change. Like there is going to be a big shakeup as far as what decks are good and what decks are not good. I do not think we're just going to be playing against like the typical Heimer Jace, Samira aggro, Swain Alawi, Jax Ornn. Like I think the types of decks people are going to play are very much going to change this expansion, just like across the board. There are so many new cards that are going to just make old decks kind of bad. And it's very interesting to see. I don't know. I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of this. Moving on to the next card, Divine Whirlwind. So this is the fast speed one that we saw in the trailer. This is a 5 mana P&Z card. If you've drawn 3+ cards this round, I cost 2 less. Deal 3 to a unit and 2 to the enemy nexus. So again, this is a card that just gets activated with 1 Slipstream, with 1 Rummage, with 1 Formula, with 1 Eye of the Storm, which is the new draw card that we just looked at. This definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be as much of a staple as the last card that was deal 5. Deal 5 for 3 mana is obviously a lot better than deal 3 and then 2 to the Nexus. I don't know. I mean, I personally don't see this card being that nuts. This is like a B tier. I think it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Divine Whirlwind, not seeming that crazy. It's okay. It's okay. All right. We got our first sea monster in P&Z for some reason. It's so weird for me to be seeing all of these cards feel out of place in P&Z. I can't say I've seen a single card here as part of Janna's set that feels like it belongs in PNZ. These all feel like they're from other regions, which is kind of strange. This is a 6-mana 4/4. Iascylla, Figurehead of the Deep. Might be the monster that Neela was fighting. Looks like could be the same one. It's got like similar looking tentacles. She is so ugly though, I have to say. She is. When you play an elemental spell or skill, copy it with the same targets. Now we're talking. Now see, that is a reason. That is a reason to play elemental cards. That is very much a reason to play elemental cards. 6-mana Karma. Did someone say 6-mana Karma? Because here it is. That's very good. That is very good. I mean, a 4/4 is pretty easy to remove, especially considering that Howling Gale exists. It's kind of disappointing that this card has such low stats. It feels like it's going to be a little bit easier to remove. Maybe you do want to play this with like Ionia, and then you are just able to protect it. This is definitely going to be a good card. Like, make no mistake, this will be a good card. I think it just depends on what the full list of elemental cards for Ionia and Targon and Shurima look like, because they all have a couple at the moment. Even Shurima has like Quicksand. It might be the only one in Shurima. But there are some pretty scary things you could do with this. You can play this into Winter's Breath, which is just a full board wipe, right? Because Winter's Breath frostbites, and then Winter's Breath kills everything that's frostbitten. That's very scary. That's got to be like the best way to play this card. But basically, any like elemental spell is worth playing if you're going for this as your like end game. Especially Deluge, because now Deluge is 5 mana. Up the damage all of your elemental spells do by 2. And then also this duplicates all of them. So not only is Deluge getting duplicated, then everything else is getting duplicated. And suddenly like your tidal waves are doing 6 damage each for 3 mana. That's actually insane. If you play Deluge and then you play 1 tidal wave for 3 mana, tidal wave is hitting 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's doing 6 to 2 units. That is crazy. And this does copy with the same targets, which is interesting. In some cases, that's good. In some cases, that's bad. This is very strong. I have to say, this is not a bad card by any means. I feel like it's probably A tier, because again, it has such a low stat line. I feel like it's going to be pretty easy for a lot of regions to remove. You're going to have to really play this in like a specific type of deck that can protect it. I think the decks this is going to be good in are going to be somewhat boring as far as the actual like elemental cards they play. You're mainly going to be stuck playing PNZ elemental cards, so you are just going to be playing stuff like... I think she's going to be tough to build meme decks with. She's definitely a cool card. She is a cool card. Hopefully we can figure out something funny with her. All right, our final card for the day, a 5-mana 3/2, Exalted Cloudwinder. How is this not a bird? What is this? If this is not a bird, what in the world am I looking at? Is this intentional? There's no way they actually meant to print this card and did not give it bird on purpose. This is a bird. How is this not a bird? Okay, I thought this was going to be like the thing that ties the whole bird archetype together with Galesong Flock. And this is like, oh, that's why you want to play Galesong Flock. This is just its own thing. It doesn't even go with the birds. So what am I supposed to do with this card? Okay, if you've drawn 3+ cards this round, it costs 2 less. So it's a 3-mana 3/2 with quick attack. When I'm summoned, draw 2 at the next round start. Okay. And this is a summon effect. You have to keep in mind, you could play this with something like Callista. You could play this with Soul Cleave. And then you have yourself just an infinite draw engine. Not infinite, but like, you do have a draw engine. A pretty good one at that. I would say it's close to A tier. It's very close to A tier. It's at least B tier. I'm going to put this in A tier. I think this is A tier. I think it's another A tier card. It's hard for me to put so many cards at the top of this tier list. But I feel like just all of the cards we're getting this expansion are just objectively better than what we're used to. But yeah, that's it for today's card reveals. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Let me know your thoughts on the new cards down in the comments below, as well as any new decks you'd like to see me build with them. And until tomorrow, I will see you guys for day 5. Peace.